Father's Day, a Kirk Franklin story. I didn't expect to get emotional. But we have Kirk Franklin here today to talk about that particular moment. This was a moment in the documentary where you will find that Kirk Franklin, his entire life, this man has been on this planet for 53 years. 53 years.
You got to clap for
Come
that.
on, man. The life expectancy hundreds of years ago was only 21 years. He's been on this planet for 53 years, the majority of his life. You have witnessed this man be totally transparent and reveal with his soul, his heart, and his spirit all the trials and tribulations that he has gone through in his life. And he always shows up on Sunday. And I mean that figuratively. He always shows up throughout the controversy, the heaviness, the judgment that this man gets. I watched a clip the other day of these Christians who approached him on the street as he was outside of his car, probably giving love to people on the street, and they start questioning him about how he pastors and the messages and how he presents it and not being according and aligned with the Bible or the Word of God. And Kirk, for the love of mankind, who I know, under all of this, can get in your ass if he wanted to. He could whoop your ass if he wanted to. There's so many people that approach him, and I saw him handle this man with such dignity who wouldn't even shake his hand. Wouldn't even shake his hand, and Kirk Franklin said after the concert, man, let's just sit down and go over a scripture. And this was before I saw the documentary, and then I watched the doc. I'm going to talk about this, and then we'll talk to Kirk Franklin.
Good. Yeah, because I didn't see it. So, tell me what this is about.
It was 4 years ago. Well, no, it's really been, it's been almost 4 or 5 years ago. I was in some city, and there was a guy outside of one of my concerts boycotting me. And, he was outside protesting me, saying that my performances on the BET Awards and the different artists I work with, that I'm not biblical, that I'm not in God's will. And I just invited him to come sit with me after the concert, and let's just kind of walk through the scriptures, kind of get understanding and just kind of see where he's coming from. And I was trying to shake his hand, and he wouldn't shake my hand because he said I wasn't a godly man. And so, but that was 4 years ago before all of this. But, more than anything, man, just wait. I'm thankful, that you would open up your doors to me, King, and Queen. Thank y'all for allowing me to come through.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate that. So, what happened then, that's been happening my whole life.
That's been your whole life. And that's what I looked at. That's been happening your whole life.
Yeah. From Stomp on. I was kicked out. I'll never forget being at an HBCU, a very conservative HBCU, over 20 years ago, and I was playing the students. I was premiering one of my albums at this HBCU that was very conservative, and it was off the album called The Rebirth, the Kirk Franklin album.
Rebirth, yes.
Which is a very churchy album.
Yeah.
And the president of the university, in the middle of me playing music, cut my music off in front of all the students, and it was really embarrassing, and that was over 20 years ago. So it's like, it's kind of been, it's been the path that God chose for my life, and so, I can't sit around and complain. I've just got to accept just the path, but because I don't want to be a victim. And
you keep going. And you keep going. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop with people outside your family. I was saying the heavy is the head, right? And when you watch this documentary, the clip I just played, Kirk Franklin found out who his real father is.
His biological father.
His biological, let me say that better word, with who his biological father is. Kirk Franklin, your relationship with your mother, Deborah, right?
Yes, sir.
Has been a challenged one. You were adopted as a youth. Yes, you find out in this documentary you didn't hang out with a lot of family. You were really lonely.
Yes, sir.
Growing up.
Yes, sir.
The piano is what delivered you.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Can you talk about that?
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah,
man. And I only want to talk about it briefly because let me tell you, the biggest thing that I found out, Sway, in Queens, just even from me doing this moment, but because I was in the middle of working on an album when this happened. I mean, I had a whole nother title for the album, a whole nother plan. It was my first time working on an album that I had a full-time videographer with me. I had never in my career had that, and I thought that would be cool too. So I just happened to have a camera in the middle of all this that was happening. There was a camera right there. And so I invited, and art imitates life for creatives. So, we don't separate what we're going through from what we're doing creatively. So it's like if I was writing music and this was happening at the same time, well, it's going to impact both, right? And so I wanted to capture these moments because that's also really, I was able to hide behind the camera to get the courage to even capture the moments, you know what I mean? To even deal with, if that kind of makes sense, to deal with it on your own, it would have been a little bit more daunting, but to kind of hide behind a lens as I'm finding out, okay, are you my daddy? To go see this lady that I haven't seen in over 23 years, because I wasn't raised, like I said, I was adopted by a 64-year-old woman when I was 4.
Gertrude,
God bless Gertrude. And, and she recycled cans and newspapers to pay for my piano lessons. We want government aid and, government cheese and all that coming up. And Deborah would come through.
Deborah's your mom.
Deborah would come through 2 or 3 times a year. And, that's what happens a lot of times in these urban marginalized communities. A lot of times you can be adopted by someone, but still every now and then run into your biological parents, which even makes the trauma more alive and well, because you never get to heal, because they're always coming in and out. They're in and out. Where in normal adoption situations, a child is in a system and they never really see their parents. But a lot of times Black and brown kids, man, I'm gonna tell you something. Since this documentary, I cannot tell you how this has opened up the experiences of so many people. You have no idea how many times I'm stopped. You have no idea how many men, grown, just dudes, real dudes, Wall Street dudes, hood dudes, that is like tears. Is because it is part of the American story of our people being displaced, and just the fragmentations of our souls as individuals, right? And so, this is definitely our story. And, I hated a man that didn't even deserve to be hated, because I met him when I was 6, didn't see him again until I was 13. And then I got a random call in 2017 saying he was dying of cancer. And I went and made peace with him. And that's the man that I thought was my daddy my whole life.
You thought he was your biological dad?
Because that's what I was always told. Because that's what Deborah told me. That's what his
family. You don't call your mother?
Well, I've never called her my mother, because Gertrude was my mom.
Okay.
Gertrude has papers on me. Gertrude gave me her legal name. Okay. And so that's mama. Deborah was always Deborah. And and I don't mean that in any disrespect. Okay. I don't mean that in any harm. It's because she's a Black woman, and I think we always, at every point, we still got to respect the queens.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's what I feel about Heather B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sway, and Kirk with me. Queens on.
I saw that.
So we always got to respect the Black queens, at any cost.
Yes.
At any cost.
I concur.
Yeah. So I didn't know her as mama. And, I hadn't seen her in over 23 years. So when this thing came up, I got courage behind the camera, having my guy go with me just to be able to address these things. And so they were happening in the middle of creating music, and they were in the middle of me seeing my life be deconstructed in my own hands, and I had no control over it.
Yeah.
And so
let me give people, because I got a little emotion. I don't know where that came from, but I just when I see you find out who your biological father was in that moment, I wanted to play that. I recently had a friend of mine who's over 50 who found out that his father, that he believed was his biological father, his whole life was not his. And the way he found out was through Ancestry.com. Right? And then the whole family had to come with the truth at that point. Your situation is really peculiar to me, because I'm watching this. You grew up in a small environment, a small community. Everybody knew everybody. And all along, citizens, Kirk Franklin was adopted, was told that another man was his biological by his mother, Deborah. That was untrue. There was a funeral that took place where family members were there, and a member of the community showed up and told people that he dated once Kirk Franklin's mom. His name was Rick, Mr. Rick. right?
Yeah,
And then the rumblings start happening.
There was a girl that sings there's a girl that sings with me at the church of that funeral. Her dad's the pastor.
Her dad's the pastor.
Yeah.
She heard it.
Yeah, and her dad is Mr. Rick's homeboy.
Yeah.
They childhood friends, and so and let me tell you what was not in the documentary that was also painful. What was not in the documentary, but we got footage of, is that the man that I lived my whole life hating, that was my father.
Yeah.
When I went to his family to let his family know that Dwight is not my daddy, and when I told them who my biological father was, they know him. They know him. They all went to the same high schools. They all know each other. And that's what even pissed me off and broke me down even more. Like, no cap, I'm 10, because it's a small community.
They all knew.
Well, I don't know if they knew. It's because I don't want to call anybody lies. I don't, I don't want to call anybody cap gods. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to call anybody cap gods. I'm just saying that I just am the victim of it, but I have the responsibility to not have the posture of a victim. And do you know how difficult that can be? Just the dichotomy of, because people are looking at you, you want to cry, but you can't. You know what I'm saying? You want to be mad, but you can't. You want to, shake your fists and it's like, God, why me? But you can't, because people are looking for you to have the answers, And so, where do you go when you need the answers that everybody's looking to you for? And I find myself in this conundrum for, really, because this just happened 12 weeks ago.
12 weeks ago.
This just happened 12
Was it
weeks
July 3rd
I first heard about it at the end of April, and then things started to unravel a little bit quickly in May, but then around about June,
it's when it all
started
coming.
Yeah.
Of this year, Heather, this man is finding out this information. The whole church is talking. Melody, background singer. Melody comes to Kirk, say, "Hey, this is what I'm hearing."
Yeah.
Right. At some point, you build up the courage to go and confront the man that was allegedly your biological father, and you captured that on video.
Yeah, and my man Chris right over there.
You were there, Chris?
That's my man. That's the man that captured all the footage.
Did a good job.
No, he did a
great lighting, the angles, the way you captured. We were in the room. You did a good job, bro.
No, yeah, man,
Yeah.
And again, he wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
He was capturing me making an album. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't somebody that flew in from NYU. You know what I'm saying? From USC Film School. This is a great talented young man that was thrown into this situation, and he's in the room while all this is happening, and you can see him going, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, the bigger story is, this is not just Kirk's story.
It's not Kirk's story. Well,
this is our story. And I don't want to even make even this to be so micro that we forget that people in this country that have the same hue have had to go through the same deconstruction of their identity. People finding out, even from Kerry Washington, and but even stories that are even worse. There have been people, that found out on their parents' deathbed, another truth, and I just want to be able to say to those people, I want to be able to say to everyone that is going through this experience, is that we have to make a decision to win wounded.
To win wounded.
A lot of times we try to wait to get well before we get up and finish the race. We want to sit and complain about who knocked us over, what they did wrong to us. And all of those things are true. All of those things are true. And God not only at times can seem unfair, life can be unfair. It can be unfair. And we cannot wait for the heavens to align everything correct to make every wrong right on this side of life. But we can trust God's heart when we don't understand his hand. And you got to run and win wounded.
Kirk Franklin is here. 888-742-3345. I know it's a bigger story, but I want to know yours too. And I think people need to hear how you feel. Because that's a part of the bigger story. From that, they're going to get direction and relatability, and it'll help them heal too.
Yes, sir.
Because I feel for you.
Wow.
I feel empathy for you. And it's okay. You ain't got to say it. I'll say it. 888-742-3345.
I've been homeless. I bathed in a church bathroom, won 19 Grammys, had a career that was beyond my imagination. I've survived death several times, endured public shame, but nothing could prepare me for what God had in store for me in 2023.
The documentary is Father's Day, a Kirk Franklin story. It's so powerful. We got the reunion tour that's with Kirk Franklin coming too, right? Turn that mic on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're out right now. You know, it feels a little weird to be trying to promote stuff right now in the middle of everything.
But I got you.
You know, but let me say like this. I'm grateful. I'm thankful to be out on the road with incredible people, just kind of encouraging people in this, kind of dark season that people in right now. You know, myself, the incredible Ty Tribbett, the incredible the Clark sisters, and, Tamala Man, David Man, Israel Houghton. You know what I'm saying? Full band, full singers. You know what I'm saying? My little short behind running around on stage. Just kind of dancing through my storms.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And I need it right now.
You need it right now.
I need it right now, man. We need it right now.
We all need it. Kirk Franklin is, God has another plan for him, and he's bringing a light of conversation that's bigger than just him. You'd be surprised what people are going through.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what they're going through. You reading those headlines, you coming to your conclusions based on some media slant. You'd be surprised what people are going through.
Yeah.
But when they stay the course and stay the path, and you understand their purpose, you know they built for it. But they are human. And he is human. In this documentary, you're going to find out that Kirk Franklin didn't know who his biological father was. He was lied to his entire life about that. Hated a man unwarranted because of what he believed untrue. I'm sure he feels bad about that.
Yeah. And again, all of this is still fresh.
It's still fresh. So I want to be gentle with you, okay? You found your biological father. He took a test. Gave it to you so you could have, or he gave you a sample of his DNA. Yes, so if you wanted to take
he gave it to Melody.
He gave it to Melody. Yeah. Melody gave it to you. You had it tested and found out he was over 99% positive to be your father. That was the clip we played earlier in the show when the first moment you found out. You went and approached your auntie.
And mama.
And your mother, Aunt Sandra, who you hadn't spoke to in years, who was insistent that you call her Aunt Sandra on the phone. We don't have to go into that part,
These are black queens.
Yeah,
I gotta respect the black queens. No matter what, I gotta respect the black queens.
And you got everybody in one room, Heather. He got the auntie, the mother, Deborah, and the father, Rick. All
the biological
father.
I love how you keep saying that.
Yeah,
because I'm under the belief system that, and I can be wrong, but I'm under the belief system that there is a supplier and a carrier, right? When it comes to birth. And so God allowed this man to supply, and allowed Miss Deborah to carry. Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean these are the people who oversee. God also will allow.
Unfortunately true.
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately true. So you needed Miss Gertrude, and you needed, certain people in your life. But so we respect them as our biological suppliers and carriers, as you mentioned. So that's why I say
No, that's very kind of you. And at the same time, I do want people to also know that when you are in these positions of being biological suppliers and providers, these kids deserve the truth.
They deserve the truth.
They deserve the truth because, man, you have no idea how it is to live your whole life yearning. Like I remember when Tam and I started dating, and I took her on a trip to Oakland while We Sing album came out, and and it was a big crossover record. I had no idea it was going to be that, but it ended up being a big crossover record. So, you know, the concert started coming in bigger, and there was a sold-out concert I did in Oakland.
Mm-hmm. You was at the Come On Town Business.
Yeah,
Kirk, know where's Paramount. The Paramount Theater downtown Oakland on Broadway. Go ahead, speak on it. I got you.
And it was sold out. It was sold out, and Tammy was on the side of the stage, and I'm telling you what Tammy told me. So everything I'm saying to you is what she has said to me in this healing space. She said that when I came off stage, I came up to her and I asked her, I said, how did I do? You know, how was it? And she said to herself, this is the most arrogant nigga I've ever met before in my life. This nigga, she like, this nigga know that he just did good. I mean, look at all these people, you know. And she said, it wasn't until I married you and I was around you and I realized, no, he don't know. Like, he's really looking for the approval.
Yeah.
He don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lived my whole life looking for the approval, because when you don't, like my therapist told me, I've been going to the same therapist now for over 20 some years.
They paid. Problems you got, that therapist is
rich. Dr. Acho, shout out Dr. Acho. He said, and he's Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and I'm gonna try to do my Nigerian thing. He said, Kirk, you know what your problem is? He said, your problem is that as a little boy, you didn't get to lay at the breast of your mother. He said every little boy has to lay at the breast of their mother. They must be connected to the breast of their mother. He said the reason why you're not connected to anything is because you were never connected to the breast of your mother. And that's heavy, bro. Man. That's heavy. And people think that a certain amount of success or a certain amount of accolades is a connection. It ain't a connection. Nah. A lot of times it can make you feel even more disconnected.
Yeah.
It's because now you're trying to figure out how to live up to all of this. And again, you know, don't want to come be. This is my first interview.
Okay.
Since all of this, so I'm still a little, fresh. You know, it's still fresh. So I hadn't gone to any PR classes, and I'm trying to get it all right in what I'm saying. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not heavy on Kirk, because I've been so impacted by so many other people's stories too. And I'm not trying to come here and try to sell the record or sell the tour. So it's like I'm really trying my best to navigate this thing. And I'm learning even as I'm sitting here talking to y'all. And I'm worried about if I'm talking too much about talking about that. I'm trying to figure it out, because I've never been here before. I'm normally in control of what I say and what I do, because I'm well planned and prepped for that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing right now.
But can I ask your opinion on something? Because you said folks should tell people the truth, their kids the truth. And we're all in families, and there's different, like, family secrets and different things, and you find out your auntie knew this or your cousin knew that. When, in your opinion, then would be a good time to tell a child, well, that person who's raising you or who has raised you is not your biological mother or biological father? Because I would think, I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but I would think that it has to be tough for them to try to figure out, when do you tell somebody the truth?
Yeah, and I can only imagine that it's even more rough, because a lot of this is also embedded in the history of our people. Yeah. Because the same person trying to tell the truth is probably the same person that was lied to themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, we just continue to pass on this broken structure
secrets
that we've been engrafted to. And so I believe that the first step of it is courage.
Courage.
Because I think that it's courage. I think that it takes a very courageous person to open up a level of vulnerability that is going to heal.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you don't want anything done to anyone that that you've had to live through yourself. And so I think that as you walk with people and as you get time to spend time with your child, you can be able to know that when you guys are laughing at certain jokes or laughing at certain TikTok moments or whatever, and you can begin to see that child can comprehend life experiences. When they can comprehend a booty shaking on TikTok, they're able to comprehend a conversation that they deserve to know. It's not your right to hide that from that baby. It's not your right. That baby is not going to be a baby always.
Mm-hmm.
And it's better for wounds to heal younger than for people to live 10 and 20 years and then have to reconstruct their ideologies and their emotions, because you always live thinking something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you're raised like that, there's something about you that you know ain't right. You can feel it's like, I don't fit in here. This is off. That person don't love me and give me the Thanksgiving hug the way they did that other kid. You know, like kids can feel that. Kids was like, okay, those kids are getting a different kind of hug and greeting. I feel like I'm getting on everybody's nerves.
That's how you grew up? You had that? That's insane. Let me ask you this. One of the most powerful points in this doc is when, is it Carry-On? Yes.
Kirk Franklin is my firstborn. That's my son. That's my very first child.
And that's the one who's in the doc, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm a father. I have a daughter. You went to see your firstborn. You guys hadn't talked since when? Or you haven't seen him since when?
Well, I hadn't seen Carry-On physically since 2009. I hadn't seen him since 2009. And some of this is going to be, respectfully, my son's story to tell.
Okay.
I want to honor him
Yes.
and allow him to tell his own story. Carry-On's 35.
Okay.
And so a lot of this, when the time is right for him, I'm just here to let everybody know that Carry-On has to win.
Yes.
There's no way that I can walk across any stage and receive any award and my firstborn don't win.
Yeah.
That's my greatest trophy. That's my greatest reward.
What did it feel like for you to touch his face for the first time? Yeah.
It was so beautiful. I hadn't touched and held Carry-On in so long. I hadn't touched my baby boy in so long. Just had him in my arms. Me and Carry-On were thick as thieves. I mean, Carry-On had a passport when he was 6. Carry-On traveled the world with me. That was the homie. I remember my first album came out. I was at a high school signing autographs, and Carry-On was next to me. And me and my manager happened to look down. Carry-On had found a pen. He signing autographs. Yeah, man. That was my man, and Carry-On has had some life journeys that I believe that Carry-On is going to be able to help a lot of young black men when the time is right for him. Carry-On's got a story, and it's going to be a beautiful story when God finishes writing it. But until then, I must, do everything I can to let him know I'm his biggest cheerleader. I'm his biggest fan. That's my firstborn. That's my namesake.
Yeah, bro.
I have 2 namesakes. They gotta win.
They gotta win.
They gotta win.
My man, Kirk Franklin, I appreciate you sharing that. I will say, and I won't linger on it, but I was watching your doc with a friend of mine, Samantha, and she had a member of her family that went through something similar, and she said something interesting. What is? Now, no, this is sensitive. You don't have to touch on it.
I'm good, though.
Okay, okay. Okay.
Remember, I'm the Oprah porn guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Oprah porn guy. He said it. All right. Be looking at it.
He said it. He said it.
Deborah, something going on. I don't know what she's not saying or what she's hiding, or there's something more to the story than her denial. And do you feel any obligation to help figure that out?
Well, more than anything, again, man, this is my first interview. And,
okay.
And everything is so fresh.
Okay.
Man, as I'm still learning what the impact of not having a mama can do, and what's interesting, even the influence that a mama can still have on a child. The fact that Deborah denied both of those test results has deeply impacted how I can even receive this truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because in some kind of warped way, you have a hard time believing that it's true because your mama won't give it to you.
Yeah.
It's like, because she don't say it, it's like, well, how can I embrace it when she don't say it? And I know that that's dysfunctional in itself, and I've got a lot of dysfunctional pieces that still have to be worked out and worked through, and sit on the couch, and it's my anxiety is going up right now. Man, when I leave you, I'm gonna walk outside and do my breathing techniques.
Yeah, breathing techniques, brother.
yeah.
Yes,
but I think that I'm willing to do this because I heal as I reveal.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine if I had to be by myself dealing with all this?
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't have music to put all this through, so I'm willing to come on, live radio and even take a chance at failing at being the most articulate at it, because I know that I've got to go through this.
Yeah.
And as much as I'm broken by what my mother not only didn't give me in that moment, but what my mother was not capable of giving me for 53 years,
Yeah.
I know I still have the responsibility as a black man to still never speak in any state of dishonoring the black queen in this country. They are the most overlooked, the most disrespected being in our species on this planet, the black woman. And I don't know Deborah's whole story.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what all she's gone through, but whatever she's gone through had to be hell for it to be passed on to me.
Kirk Franklin is here, man. I love it, man. Father's Day, Kirk Franklin story. I'm gonna take a few calls real quick. Folks have been, holding. Jackie's someone she's from Denver, and Jackie said, like you, she found her real father a few years ago as well. Jackie, you want to say hello to Kirk Franklin?
Hi, Kirk.
Hey,
I just want to first say that I just found out, my daughter told me like a week ago about your story, and all I could do, I was looking at some of the clips, and all I did was cry for you, because like you said, it's fresh, and it's still fresh for me as well. I was 45 years old. Just 3 years ago, I found my biological father. And just like you, my mother denied 2 DNA tests.
Jeez.
2. And I mean, the connection is just like, it's like you said, it's my story too. Your story is my story.
Yeah.
And I felt everything, because for 45 years to grow and to just know, like you said, you don't feel like the connection and just the displacement and nothing, nobody's looking like me and things like that. And to find out the truth and then my mother deny it to my face, it's even more heartbreaking to just know and to accept it. And like I said, I cry for you, and I know exactly. I just had to call in because I was like, that's me. I was watching the clips, and I was sitting there crying like it just happens so often, and they do need to tell the truth regardless. I don't care if they have a parent that's parenting them. The child deserves to know.
Yeah.
Like,
and
where
Queen,
they
I want you to
come
know
from.
this. And Queen, I am honored and humbled that you would even want to take out time of your busy day to even connect with me at such a deep level. And I'm begging you to hear me when I say this. I need for you, for you, for your baby, and for the future that is still ahead of you. It's because there's so much more life I need you to live, and I need for you to do it wounded. I don't need you, resting too long in the what ifs and the whys and the how comes. Is I'm gonna need you to get up at some point, and I need for you to rest in the power that God has given you as His daughter, and I need for you to get up, and I need for you to change the trajectory of your home and your family, and I need for you to do it as soon as possible, because we need you on the other side, because we got to be able to tell the story of how we can overcome.
Thank you. And I received that, and I am. And unfortunately, my mother, she took hers to the grave with her. She just didn't want to live in, the truth or just own it. And I also wanted to say,
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's like you said, I don't know her story. She didn't want to give it to me.
Yeah.
And That's unfortunate, but like you said, I am picking up.
There you go.
Moving on.
Come on,
forward
Jackie.
and
Let's
positive.
go. Come on, Jackie.
Yeah.
Let's get it. And thank you for your call and sharing yourselves with us, okay?
Yeah.
You a citizen.
And I want to say
morning.
one more thing. I appreciate y'all. But, Kirk, I've been having my reunion tour tickets since pre-sale. And when I heard that story, I said, oh, hallelujah.
Wow.
I got, this is my brother. Like, we have so much in common. And I bought that ticket months ago. I've been holding it.
You
but
in
when
Denver?
you come to Denver next month,
Yo.
November 2nd.
Watch this.
Yes.
Watch
Jackie, slow down.
Watch this. Can I meet you?
Wow.
Please, yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I get I'm gonna get your number when you get off, and I'm gonna have somebody call you. It's because I want to meet you, so I can just hug you. Is that okay?
Thank you, and I want to hug you too. Thank you so much.
Hold on the line, Jackie.
Hold on the line, Jackie.
Hold on the
Kalani
line.
gonna take care of you. You
Wow.
got a lot of callers, man. Can you mind if I go through them?
I'm honored. I'm here, King. I flew up early to be with you, man.
Yo.
That's my first interview.
Wow.
And they sway, and they said the sway got a little window for you, man. So it's like, let's go.
Yeah, man. I flew back from Vegas.
Wow.
I was like, I gotta get back. Kirk.
Yeah, he was out there with all that debauchery this weekend. He came here to get cleaned up this
I
morning.
needed you to.
Do you want a revolution? Let's go, Sway.
Dedrick, go ahead real quick. Go ahead, Dedrick.
What's up with you, Kirk? This is Dedrick, man. How you doing?
What's good, King?
You got it, man. Hey, bro, I just want to. You know who this is, right?
Dedrick?
This is Dedrick Allen.
What city?
Fort Worth.
You grew up with him, Dedrick? Stop that, man. Tell him who you are. We're live on air. Don't do that. Who? Break it
when
down.
you was in SAC, when you was in SAC this last time, we met in the back.
How long ago was this?
Dedrick Allen, Riverside.
Yeah.
Kelly Allen.
Riverside is from where I'm from. That's the neighborhood I'm from.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? Even if I don't remember, it's just still good to hear your voice, though, King. It's good to hear your voice. Talk to me.
Go ahead, D.
Hey man, I'm just so thankful, bro. Because you played the piano for us at the Sunshine Choir, man, at Corinth Baptist Church.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Hey. So and I just tell this to the world. As a kid, we didn't understand all that you was going through. We just knew that you couldn't play with us.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? We would get done with church, and Kirk had to go home. We didn't understand that. We'd go to Miss Mother Woods and get candy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't understand why he couldn't come with us, because he was our age.
He telling the
But
truth.
man, I just seeing you riding your bike in the backyard, we didn't understand why you couldn't come out and ride the bike with us. You know what I'm saying? So, man, this is when I looked at your documentary, bro. It just brought so much memories back to me, and understand the answer questions to me. You know what I'm saying? That we as a kid, we didn't know the answers to. You know what I'm saying? We didn't really get a chance to interact with Kirk until Kirk came to Riverside Middle.
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
that was deep, man. And so I just, hey man, this is just, it was a great documentary.
Thank you,
I speak highly of you every time I get a chance, bro.
Beautiful.
I know when I see your face. If I see your face, I'm gonna start crying. I know you, man. Please forgive me.
Hey, Dedrick Allen. You know my Kelly Allen, Leon Allen. We all right there in Riverside.
Man, I don't even want to cap right now off my head, but I know if I saw you, King, I know you, my people.
Get this number too, Lonnie.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you for calling in, King.
Dedrick, man, I appreciate it. And then you just gave context.
Love you, Kirk.
Love you,
Sway.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
You're a super citizen.
Sway in the morning. I love what Dedrick said, too, because it explains so much. We just don't know what people are going through. Like, you just don't know as a kid, especially as kids, because it could be mean, it could be rough. You don't know why people can't come, can't go to the candy store, why you got to stay on your porch, you can't be in your backyard. And now that Kirk has been able, as you said, you heal as you reveal. It made sense to someone like Dedrick, who we didn't know was listening, who grew up with you. And he now, oh my gosh, he going back every spot. And it's making sense. So we have to learn. It's a lesson in being judgmental as well. You don't know what people are dealing with, even as kids.
Yeah. And that's why the story is so much bigger than my story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is the Black American story.
It is, bro.
Unfortunately. And so, I am part of a community now, and I want that to make, to be very clear. It would be very selfish for me to have an opportunity to have a microphone as big as this one is all over the globe and to not speak for the unseen.
Yeah. Kirk Franklin. Myke, you and Kirk y'all did choreography when y'all saw each other when you first walked in. Apparently y'all got a friendship, so.
Yeah, I love Kirk. I've always loved Kirk for his vulnerability and what he brings to self. But question for you, Kirk, when you mentioned about the Thanksgiving hug, I never thought about that in that kind of context, right? Like the love is stronger for one kid versus the love for the other kid. And you said you felt that the entire time. How did that impact your other relationships? I'm just curious in terms of friends outside of the home. Even to this day, do you have vulnerability issues?
Love is an awkward muscle for me. That has always unfortunately had limitations. Most of my life, I have executed love from the context of performance. Even from Tammy to the kids, you know what I'm saying? It's what you do for people. You live for the response of people. So you do everything to get a response. Let me buy the bigger bag. You know what I'm saying? Let me buy the bigger crib. Let me buy, a bigger bicycle. Let me buy the bigger thing. It's because you are looking. I'll never forget, man. And Gertrude, God rest her soul. But what makes, once again, I couldn't cover everything documentary. Gertrude adopted me. She was 64, right? But Gertrude got married again when she was 73. And by this time I was 13. When she got married and her husband moved into her home, and a little small trap house in the hood, right? One bathroom, I could tell that I became more of a nuisance. How you could tell me start getting people's nerves because, she wanted to kind of now live another season of her life, her and a new husband. And I could just tell. And then, I had all these learning issues. I had these, disciplinary issues in school. So every time I got in trouble in school, because the block was a more senior block, everybody was older. Everybody was older. Like when I would come home from school getting in trouble, the whole block would know. Because back in them days, you get a whooping from anybody.
Yeah, you could hear it.
Yeah, you get a pop, you know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, it's the talk, Sister Johnson gonna tell Sister Woods, and Sister Woods gonna tell, and so I'll never forget being in the kitchen one day, and I said to Gertrude, I said, when I do something wrong, everybody know, but when I do something right, like if I do some good at church, I play a song or write a new song, I say, don't nobody say nothing. You don't say nothing. And Gertrude, I'll never forget, and she didn't mean no harm. I know it's her generation, but it broke me. She said, when I said that to her, she said, oh boy, you just want somebody to praise you. Yes. Yes. Somebody say something good about me. So you end up, you end up doing all of this performing just to get somebody to say something good about you. And so when your love is going through that filter, you get fatigued quick because, every performer gets tired. And you get tired because you don't really know how to just be. You don't know how to just be. And so I have lived my whole life just trying to, and then by some divine reason, God then also gave me a platform of being something different.
Yeah.
And then you especially don't know how to be. It's because, if you sell 1 million copies, you think 1 million people like you. Them people don't like you. They like your music, but you so desperate to be liked, you think they like you. So if the next album go gold, nigga, you somewhere thinking 500,000 people don't like you no more. And that's what really, you literally think 500,000 people don't like you no more. And so then I bring that home. I bring that home to my marriage. I bring that home to my children. And so now they got, Jekyll and Hyde in the house in Jesus' name. You know what I'm saying? And then you got religion, warped out into that. And we know religion ain't relationship. You know what I'm saying? You got a relationship with God just because you're religious. And so you got all of these dichotomies at the same time. And I have had to live in this conundrum most of my life. So love is a very difficult, but again, I don't want to get lost in the weeds because I am grateful to still be alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to still be here to be able to try to help somebody else.
Yes. And you're doing an excellent job, my brother, for your first time to be speaking on this. And I know you have so much humility with it that you don't want to make it about you, but I think it's important that people hear what you go through personally. And you could be honest about that here, and you could be vulnerable, and we appreciate that. And I love you, Kirk Franklin, for this and for what you do for our community. And if those 500,000 don't know that I do, you got one. Okay. All right. All right. And so in conclusion, I know one of the things is big for you to do this. It isn't about you. This is hard. I mean, you put it out there for for people to receive and to be healed by. You got a new project coming out. This isn't what this is about, but you got a beautiful album that this influenced, and the music is going to be healing, right? We played a couple of songs already. But what do you hope that this doc do for folks?
Man, I hope that the documentary and the body of work, because they were happening at the same time, is that I just, it was healing me, and I hope that it can heal somebody else. I hope that it helps somebody else do their, sojourn through the complexity of life. Life can be so complex. That's why we got to be gentle with each other. That's why I am confused by cancel culture. I'm confused by the lack of compassion and empathy that we have for other humans, because we ourselves know how complex life can be. And life is so delicate. The suicide rate is off the charts. Young people are killing themselves, and drug addiction's off the rate, and alcoholism is off the rate, and so it's like, and we make fun of people when they're at their lowest, because the camera catches everything now, and we can sit back and rewind, and we can click and post and joke about people that are unraveling right before us. And life can be such a compressive explosion if we're not careful. And so I'm hoping that the music and the visual of this story can let you see somebody who don't have it all together. I don't have all the answers. I'm not the superhero in the documentary. I'm not the superhero in the music. I am a patient. I'm not a doctor. And I wrote this album in the hospital bed.
Damn. You wrote it in a hospital bed. I want to end the show with needs again. Let's end it with needs. You're amazing, Kirk Franklin.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're an amazing, spirited person.
Yep.
You're beautiful, brother. What you're going through, we're going to go through with you. You have that courage. What you're doing now requires courage and bravery. I appreciate you. God bless you, Kirk Franklin.
Thank you.
Keep going. Stay the course, brother. I don't care if somebody say whatever they say to you. You always got a space right here with us.
Absolutely.
It ain't about this building.
Absolutely.
It's about these relationships.
Facts.
Building could be going tomorrow. I could be going out this building tomorrow, but you will always have a brother in me, man. Kirk Franklin, man. Get this man a round of applause.